Hello and welcome to the one and only Tux Care Stream. It is your resident senior developer advocate, your boy in the snowy north of Michigan, Chris DeMars. Hopefully you're doing great. Hopefully you are having a great new year, a great January. Hopefully it's warm where you're at because it's not warm where I'm at. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hopefully you're staying hydrated. We are not sponsored by this company, but it's really, really good. It's a nice little tasty beverage, sparkling water, lime flavored. Hopefully you have something, coffee, juice, pop, milk, water, whatever you're drinking. Hopefully it's keeping you hydrated. I have a great guest today. This guest and myself have gone back a couple more years. It'll be a decade that me and this guest have been friends. I'm going to take a little sip before I keep continuing. And I'm going to bring him up on the stage. But before I do that, I'm going to go into the spiel. If you've seen the stream before, you know the exact spiel that I'm going to go into. If you're not following TuxCare on Twitter, make sure that you give us a follow right there, twitter.com/TuxCare. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us via sub on LinkedIn, Facebook, all the socials that we are a part of. And if you aren't following me, make sure that you give me a follow right there. Twitter.com/SaltandBurnham. Check us out at tuxcare.com. And then if you are tuned in on Twitch, make sure that you are giving us a follow. We have a bunch of guests lined up for the year. I think going into July, we have a bunch of guests. I will also be on the road a lot, so I won't be streaming. But when I am available, Wednesdays, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, we will have a stream. So without further ado, I am going to bring up my buddy. I'm going to unmute his mic. I am going to bring up the one and only Scotty Mac.
DeMars, how you doing,
Mac? What's up, brother? How are you?
Good to see you, my friend.
How was the West Coast?
Oh, buddy. So, you know, you made a big point about it being 11 a.m. on the East Coast. That is not 11 a.m. on the West Coast. It's early.
No,
here.
I know. It's early. Hey, I know. Those early mornings are a pain, dude.
It's because I love you, man.
I appreciate you, my friend.
That's why I'm here at this wonderful hour. So thank you so much for having me.
Is it warm though where you're at right now? Or
what's funny?
What's the weather like?
Normally I live in Seattle, Washington, just outside Seattle, Washington. And normally I tell people I'm here because I don't love living in the snow. I don't mind playing in it, but I don't love living in it. But right now, oddly enough, it's dry, which is odd for this time of year. It's also freaking cold. It's like 30 degrees outside. So who knew, right?
Ooh, 30, huh? Well, let me tell you how cold it is outside right now, bud. It is. I just updated my iOS. It is 24 degrees. It feels like 7.
Nice. Do you have snow?
Good times. Oh yeah, we got a huge snowstorm overnight, and there's like 3 or 4 inches outside.
Oh dang.
So, yeah, good times.
The closest I am to snow is a ski hill about 25 minutes to the east of me. And even that, from what I'm told, the rest of my family skis. The snow is not great this year, so that's a little sad. At least not yet. We're still optimistic. We're holding out hope that February will be a better month.
Take a trip to Michigan. We got plenty of snow for you. Take some of ours. We have places to ski. I mean,
I like how
sure we have mountains. Yeah. No, but we got a bunch of places. Boyne Mountain is up north. That's a really popular one. Alpine Valley is another one. Mount Morris, Pine Knob has a few different hills, and yeah, I mean, so there's places. My stepson he snowboards.
Okay.
So yeah, he's always, and when he gets off work or he's out of the gym, if he's not going to class and doing homework, working at the gym, working his job, he's snowboarding with his friends. Yeah. So
yeah, that's my son in skiing. My son is all about skiing right now.
Yeah. So Scotty Mac, you and I go way back. We go back to, I believe it was 2018 in New Orleans, right?
I think, dude, was New Orleans
was
first?
It earlier than that?
Or was it you and I met at a code camp in Minnesota?
Code camp?
Weren't you at the Minnesota code camp?
The St. Paul Code Camp, right? The Twin Cities Code Camp.
Cities Code Camp.
That
Yeah.
was earlier than 2018.
I
So
think that was 2017.
yeah.
We're
have to
like,
go back and look.
well, yeah, we're
because I was thinking it was JazzCon in New Orleans in 2018.
Oh yeah, I was at JazzCon too. So yeah, we were both there. So maybe it was JazzCon.
One of the two.
Either way,
it was one of the two.
It's been a while.
It's been a while, bud.
Yes.
And we consistently cross paths.
It's good. It's a good world when we cross paths.
I didn't see you at Code Mash this year, though.
Yeah. How was that this year?
Oh, it was amazing. It was great. Yeah. I think in total, 1,300 attendees. And we had a great booth. Tux had a great booth. We had great swag. We had the most badge scans of the whole event, which is good.
Nice.
But like the swag we create our own comics in-house, and they're not AI generated, and they're based on actual cybersecurity attacks. So we always have issue 1 and issue 2 with us. Issue 3, I believe, is in production. So once that's done, that'll be going out to conferences. So we'll have 3 different issues. And I mean, we have pins and stickers and cool shirts, and it's always a blast when I'm on deck. You know what I mean? It's it's the way it is. But are you going to be anywhere on the road this year? And we'll cover this at the end, but I'm just curious.
For sure. Yeah. So Depot is in the build acceleration space. So we essentially deal with containers. So anything that has to do with containers, like Kubernetes, which is like container orchestration, will be at the KubeCons, will be at reInvent. I'm going to be at Scale here in March. That's in Southern California. And then We Are Developers is in Berlin. We'll be there as well. And that's as far as I know so far. Yeah. So
are you going to be at CodeStock?
You know what?
I swear I thought I saw your face on the CodeStock website last night.
That'd be really great if my face was at the CodeStock website.
I'm going to look right now.
Are you? Because that would be
I'll
pretty
be at CodeStock.
I don't know if I applied.
I swear I saw your face on something I was just looking at.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you see my face now.
That's true. I do. Let's see. Scotty Mac.
CodeStock's a great show. I definitely highly recommend it. It's there in Knoxville, Tennessee. Really, really good.
I swear I saw your face on the speaker page yesterday.
I just say I did not apply for CodeStock this year. So,
damn.
Yeah.
Well,
so
I'm glad they're bringing it back, though. It's been MIA.
I was super happy to see that it was coming back. It just didn't work out. The timing didn't work out as far as I went through some transitions, and so it kind of came. That CFP came through right around that transition time. So,
right. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, why don't you give us a rundown of who you are, what you're all about, what you do at Depot, and then a run through of what Depot is again.
Sure. Yeah. So Scott McAllister. I'm a principal developer advocate at a company called Depot. Depot is in the build acceleration space. So folks who have built software before that have deployed it through a CI process, and you have your containers, and you have those containers, you build them as you run those processes. It takes a minute to get all the dependencies that are coming down and downloading into those containers. And so what Depot does is it accelerates that process, makes that process a lot faster so that you don't have to sit there waiting for it. It makes it so that you can keep working and get things done, and or get out and go snowboarding or skiing or whatever. That's awesome. That's what Depot does.
Cool. Well, if you want to follow Scotty Mac on Twitter, right there, twitter.com/ST McAllister. And then also, you know what? Follow Depot too. Twitter.com/Depot Dev on the Twitters. It will always be Twitter. It will never be X. I'm just going to throw that out there one more time for the people in the back.
Nice. So, I was about to correct you too.
I know you. Oh, I saw it in your eyes.
Right. I was like, ah! Here's the thing. It took me honestly until like last week to realize, okay, Twitter's never coming back. It's going to be X. And I started calling it X as of like last week. And so I transitioned, man. I've made the change.
I'm pulling you off the stage.
Dang it. I had a good run, whole 14 minutes.
Yeah, right.
Well,
so container build performance. We're going to talk about container build. Tell me what this is, because I know what containers are.
Okay.
I know how to run a build, and I know what performance is.
Right.
But I don't know what all of these things combined are. So
Right.
I'm going to be a fly on the wall. I might ask some questions. I might look very confused. School me on what this all means, please. And if you have any demos, anything cool to show off, I would love to see it. Our audience would love to see it.
For sure. How about this? I'll walk you through kind of my idea of like have you heard of GitHub Actions?
Yes, sir.
Right. So like a GitHub action. So a GitHub action is like a CI process. The continuous integration basically means it's so that like it triggers a process that runs through a series of instructions for you when you do an event. So like you open a pull request and it's like, oh, I'm going to fire this thing up. I'm going to containerize my application, bring all my code together, bring all the dependencies, make a new version of the container of my application. And then I'm going to run tests on it. And then I'm going to deploy it type thing. And so I'll show that. How about that?
Cool.
So I will come here. Let me share my screen. Entire screen. This is the fun, awkward part where I like, do that. And then we're going to go here and then I'll pull
Let me know when you're ready for me to add it.
Yeah, go ahead and add it now. All right. Is it up?
It is. If you could bump the font size up, that'd be
great. How's that?
Perfect. All
right. So I'm going to use a project that is probably well known, or at least well known to some. This is the Mastodon project. Mastodon came onto the scene a few years ago when folks were deciding they didn't want to deal with Twitter/X, and they wanted a different way of communicating with each other. And so it's an application that has lots of code, lots of dependencies, but also has a Docker file. In that Docker file, this is how you build your application. This is all the dependencies that are needed, all the configurations, all the different settings that are needed to run Mastodon on your machine, or if you want to have your own instance of it running on your own server. And so it's going to be taking Ruby. It's going to have Node. It's using Trixie, the version of Debian called Trixie. And then it has all these other environment variables and different settings that you need for your application. To build Mastodon, what you do is if you were running this on your own machine, you'd have a command called docker build, right? Docker build, and then you throw the Docker file at it, and then it will start pulling in all these different dependencies that you need for your application and to build that container. And the CI process for Mastodon, in our case here, what we're going to do is we're going to actually benchmark Mastodon in a CI process over here. So Mastodon here has this Docker file. We're going to take that Docker file, and I'm going to have this project called benchmark Mastodon. And in here, we have a GitHub action defined to benchmark that process and that project. In this case here, what we're going to do is we're going to say, we're going to have two different processes that are going to run. The traditional process where we're going to build with Docker, and it's going to be using the latest Ubuntu. It's going to check out the code. It's going to use the Docker. This is the standard Docker instructions, the standard Docker action. So it's going to set up the build. It's going to set up QEMU action. The reason why it sets up QEMU is because GitHub Actions are meant to run on Intel chips, right? And so it's meant to run on CPUs. Sorry, I forgot.
Dun, dun, dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Blooper reel.
Different types of architecture. Essentially, you have two different types of CPUs, right? You have ARM CPUs, and then you have traditional x86 CPUs. And so it's running on x86. And so to have it run on ARM, you need to actually emulate it inside of something called QEMU. So you have to create an emulation to basically run the process to build this application. And so here, it's going to grab it. It's from upstream, which is what it's been syncing to in the other process. So it grabs it from Mastodon, and then it wants it to build it onto AMD and then also ARM. And then down here, if you notice, the depot actions are very, very similar in this sense here, where we're running off of Ubuntu, we're checking out the code, we still have the setup action, which is the same as your Docker setup action. And really all we did is we switched out the directory on that particular action, right? So if you have code that's already saying, oh, I'm going to have a Docker setup or a Docker build, well, all you have to do is swap out Docker, put in depot, and suddenly you have the same or much more efficient action. So in here, what we're doing is we're going to set up the action, and then we're going to build it, and then we're going to push it to a repository. It doesn't need QEMU because depot runners are actually, or the depot build process can actually do it natively. It can build the containers natively on either ARM or on x86. So in a case here, I'm going to come back to this work. Actually, I'm going to come up to my actions. And it's actually running for me. This is actually a process that runs, it's syncing actually. So I'm going to come over here to the benchmark. And it's updating the stream. That's good timing for us. What I want to do for looking at this here. So in this case here, this is something that was already running. This is a process that runs every day to kind of update the stats on our site. So in this case here, I didn't even kick this off, but you can see here, when you built with Depot, built the same container on the multiple architectures, it took 2.5 minutes. Docker, it's taken 8 minutes, wow, pushing almost 9, and it's still going, right? It's still building. And so I can come in here and see like what's going on with my build and say it's still in the process of grabbing all the different, let's see, it's stuck at building Vite. So it's building Vite in this process right at this point. So you can see where that benefits, right? Like with the fact that as a developer, rather than sitting around, playing swords, as XKCD likes to point out, right? We've all seen that comic. We can actually be focused on what we're doing.
That's really cool.
So yeah, but let's see that there. I mean, that's going to keep running. We can keep that running and kind of leave that and see how long that's going to take. But I don't know if everybody wants to sit here and watch a timer. So we're going to stop sharing there.
So is there like a how do I want to say this?
How do we take this inception off?
So we build with Depot in a container. Is there a UI or some type of analytics dashboard that you can see after that's done to see differences or changes? Like, how does that piece work, or it's just strictly running in GitHub?
Right. No, so that you have a Depot dashboard that will show you all your different builds. In fact, it gives you the same logging that you would see that you saw in that GitHub. But then as it goes, you can actually drill in to see like what's going on with the build on the Depot side. So you can see the Depot actions happening. You can see how fast they're going, where if something gets stuck, right, a dependency is outdated or it doesn't work, you can grab that as well. And so the key difference is the fact that when you have the GitHub actions that I was just showing you, every time it fires up a GitHub action starts fresh, it starts new. So it has to grab all the Docker images, and it grabs all the things it needs when it fires up that Docker build, that you have to wait for everything to come down. What's different with Depot is it actually has persistent storage. And so there's a persistent cache that stays with you in your account and then everyone on your team, so that when you run that GitHub action, it remembers, oh, wait, I remembered that you had all these different dependencies here. Boom. You already got them. Let's go. And if I run it, then it's set up, it's good. Then if you run it, it's also set up and good. So you're sharing it across your organization so that you can keep going with, honestly keeping things quick and fast.
So how does Depot, like the analytics piece, the UI piece that does like the tracking and stuff, the dashboard, how does that know what repo that you're running this on? Do you import the GitHub repository of your organization? Do you use an API key? Like how does that piece work?
Yeah, so when you log into Depot, there's an organization ID or an org ID that you tie into for your account. So that way, all of your different build processes are tied to that specific organization. I can show you that here. Actually, I can show you that in my
I
terminal.
definitely want to see what that looks like.
Yeah, I can show that. Now, this is not connected to that project I was showing you because that's like our benchmarking project that we show to folks. But on my own personal machine, what I can do here is I can go to my application. Let me go find this. Is resolution okay on my terminal here?
Bump up the font size if you can.
Good.
A little bit more.
A little bit more.
Perfect. That's good. I think.
Got it. All right. Documents, workspace. Actually,
Are you using Ghosty?
I am using Ghosty. Have you used it?
No, I haven't. Tangent. I'm still using Warp.
Okay.
What's better, Warp or Ghosty? I keep hearing two different sides of the coin here, and people still using iTerm, so I don't know.
Honestly, I never used Warp. I went from Terminal to iTerm to Ghosty. Ghosty is one of those things that folks have been telling me like it's just faster, and so it's like, okay, I like fast, right? I mean, that we're all talking about fast today, right? Like Depot makes things faster,
Right.
and so I like fast, and so I decided I'm gonna give Ghosty a try. I had issues with Ghosty in the past when I was I have a home lab here in my house, and it's an old Mac Mini, and when I would SSH into that old Mac Mini, there was some sort of issue going on between Ghosty and that machine because it was too old. The OS was too old, and so there was some weird formatting that would happen. And so when I reformatted that machine, I put Ubuntu on it, and actually everything works great now. So, nice. But yeah, that was really my biggest issue with Ghosty. I couldn't SSH into that machine because all the formatting would go wonky whenever I was trying to type or try to use Vim or anything. But now it seems good so far. Let's see. Let's scratch, and then I go into Depot. Actually, no. This is live TV here. We got folks.
Buddy.
Live TV. Let me go here. And nope. That's not where I'm going. I'm going to go. Yeah, let's go to Moby. Moby. Do you know what Moby is, Chris?
It's a EDM techno singer,
there you go. You are the man. You were exactly where I wanted you to go. Moby is not that Moby, right? So Moby is actually the open source bits of Docker. So yeah, so this is essentially the Docker project but it's the open source parts. And so if you come in here and you look at that, I mean, they have, again, it's another complex project, right? I mean, Docker is a pretty complex piece of software. And of course, Docker is built with a Docker file. And so if I come in here and I say Depot org show, right? I see my show. I see my org ID. Hopefully that isn't going to be a security problem. And then, yeah, org list. And then I see my org list and I say, here are the different organizations that I can connect to. And I can say, okay, here are my different organizations that I see. And then when I see into my organization, I can say, okay, this is my organization here, Scott Depot DevRel. And then I can come here and see, let's go depot.dev. And so here is the dashboard. And I'll admit to everyone on the show today, I've been at Depot for a week and a half. And so I'm not intimately familiar with the dashboard just yet, but I can show you a few of the different things that I do know. And so in this case here, I'm in my project and I'm authenticated as myself. I can switch my organization to my DevRel Depot. And I was messing around with our GitHub projects and our GitHub offerings and trying to learn, like, okay, here are different builds that we have inside of a GitHub Actions. And I can look inside these different GitHub Actions and it says, okay, when I ran this particular GitHub action, it told me all the different steps that it was running, launching at ARM86 or ARM64, loading the Docker file, and then all the different steps that were in that particular GitHub action or in that particular Docker file. And so this was picking up all the different things here to letting us know, again, the same type of statistics you have and giving you a nice resource utilization. So you can give you a view of this, of your different resources that you're using. Now, the key here, one of the differences too, we were talking about how there's persistent storage on Depot and not when you're running in a CI process like GitHub Actions. Also, those runners on GitHub Actions are minimal, we'll say, right? They have a couple of CPUs, they have a little bit of memory, they have a little bit of storage that you can run on them. I believe the limit is like 10 gigs of caching that you can run inside of a GitHub action. And so here inside of Depot, you can notice I'm not taking very much. That's because you have 500 gigs straight up of caching for each runner. And you have many more, dozens of CPUs that are running your process. So again, it's also, you have more oomph behind the process happening, and it's persistent as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's really cool. I like that graphic. I've always wondered like what tooling is behind, and I know it's not really a graph because it's live, right? It's real time, but I've always wondered like what tool, or I guess what package is out there that can create that kind of graph. Because from my perspective, it looks like there's like a little bit of a gradient there, and that makes it look really slick. So I like how you guys incorporate that into the dashboard.
Yeah, the team here does great work, and they definitely utilize libraries and things. And so, I mean, if it makes things look great, they make things look great, and they get things done really quick.
That's awesome.
So, yeah. Let's see.
Anything else in here that you wanted to run by and show?
This is about it as far as the UI. There's definitely different offerings inside of Depot rather than just container builds and just GitHub action runners. There's also container registries. So if you make a container, you usually build the container and then you push it up to a registry. Most people they push it up to like Docker Hub, right? And so you push it up to Docker Hub, and then your container's sitting up there. Then when you run like a Docker pull, you can like grab that container from anywhere and you can run it. But Depot also provides a registry. Mine's empty because, again, I've been here a week and a half, but it's definitely going to be full here in a little while. There's also a Depot cache, which is another product that, again, provides a caching for you and for your projects, again, across your teams. And so that's another offering there.
That's cool. So the Depot registry, does that kind of work like an NPM registry or Artifactory, Nexus? So you store your stuff there, private packages or whatever that you want to be to be consumed?
Except for in containers, right? So it has all the containers that you would have that would run your application. You can store them in a CDN backed registry for that we run. Again, we're all about shaving speed. If we can shave a couple of seconds off your process, we're going to do that work to shave a couple of seconds off your process, because as you get bigger and bigger, or you're running your processes more and more, I mean, things being automated, especially with all this agentic development, right? I mean, the fact that things are happening a lot faster now and in a lot bigger volume, you need things to be quicker. You need to remove your bottlenecks. You need to find those bottlenecks and open them up. And so, the Depot is really big on just trying to find each of those bottlenecks and making things faster.
Yeah. So you mentioned Docker Hub, and the only time I've ever been, I've ever seen Docker Hub or have sort of been familiar with it was at another company, because we used Docker Hub was one way that you could bring in images and containers. You could use GitLab, GitHub, Docker Hub. For anybody that's new to Docker and containers, what is Docker Hub?
Yeah, so it's essentially a place where you are storing your containers. So if you're gonna like visualize it, right? I always visualize when I'm talking to. I was trying to tell my mom what I did for work. Okay, and so I was trying to tell my mom what I did for work, and I was like, "Okay, Mom, when you go to Subway, right?" And she's like, "Okay, I go to Subway, right? When you build a sandwich, building a sandwich is like building software. software has lots of different ingredients that go into that software. And so when you walk up to Subway, you see all of these different ingredients in containers. Okay. But each of the different containers, right? Some need to be chilled, some need to be warmed, some need to be big, some need to be small. And so, and this was when I was trying to explain Kubernetes. Kubernetes is the bar that holds all of those containers. And then also you can like sit there and have nerd knobs that tell you, okay, this container needs to be hot, this container needs to be cold, this container needs to be big, this one needs to be covered, this one needs to be open. You can have all those different settings. So when you have those containers, you visualize those. Docker Hub is basically the place where you can take those containers and store them so you can get to them. And so you have a big, it's almost like it's the freezer in a way. Like if I you can tell where I worked in high school, right? And so, so imagine all the, you open up that cooler and there's all of the different containers with all the ingredients ready to go, and you're ready to use that for your software. It's easily accessible. So it's that place to store all those containers where you can basically say, I can grab this and I can use it, and then I can use these images for running my software.
That's awesome. When we first started, you showed GitHub, you showed Mastodon, you showed Benchmark Mastodon, you showed a YAML file. So a couple questions with the YAML file. Does everybody know how to create a GitHub action or like a Docker file or a YAML file? Or are there guides out there to break down the syntax of what you would need in that? Or is it best to use AI like Claude or Gemini to do that? Like what would be your advice when coming up with that YAML file? And I'll ask a question that's after that one.
This actually is taking me into a direction that's new for me. As a developer, I've been in the industry. You and I, like you said, you and I have known each other for 10 years, let's say, give or take. And before that, you and I had both have been developers, because obviously you have to be a developer before you get on stage. And I've done things by hand, or, I've used frameworks and things, but I've built software. And I've just in the last year decided, okay, this, everything with the LLMs, I need to really start embracing these tools. And at first, right, they're pretty janky, and you're like, wait, this isn't working. This isn't what I need. This isn't what I wanted. I asked you to build this, and you gave me, I asked you to make a picture of me, and you gave me 6 fingers, and blah, 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 blah. The interesting thing is when things are more mainstream, like Docker files, like GitHub action workflows is what they're called. That's what that YAML file in a GitHub action is called. It's called a workflow. If it's more mainstream, AI is great at helping you figure it out, as long as you're using it as your thing to like basically go back and forth with, and that you're willing to try small and then get a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger. And so for me, Docker there's lots of great resources on building Docker files, understanding what's going on in Docker, and docker.com and things, but there's lots and lots and lots of resources in the world. But today I've been learning more and more about how Cursor works and Claude code works, and even ChatGPT, and all of those seem to be they're starting to be my go-to, my thing that I go to first to say, what do you say about this? It's like, how do I do, like, show me how to do this. And it shows me how to do it, and then explains it. It's like, you know what? Actually, and I'll run it and it works. There's other times you run it and it doesn't work, right? Like, absolutely. I mean, it's still definitely the spot. I was trying to build a demo last night. I was calling it the kitchen sink, and it was a Docker file that was just ridiculous. It was like it's like grabbing Python and all these different things, and then grabbing Go and all these different different dependencies, and then grabbing Ruby, and then grabbing this, and then uninstalling all of them, and then doing all this. I was like, no project would really actually do this. And no, did the Docker file work? No, it did not. And so, like, you still have to run into those different issues, but basically that's my long diatribe of saying it's getting there. And it seems to be the way to learn things. It seems to be the way, like, we still have, as the content creators of the world, we still have to create the content for it to find.
Right.
So, but as long as it's like a mainstream product or a mainstream project, the LLMs seem to be doing pretty okay. At least for helping you learn things or try to figure out those little nuances.
Right. So you showed the YAML file. So we were talking about GitHub Actions, GitHub Workflows. What is the difference between an action and a workflow? Because I know a lot of times a lot right now, a lot of stuff that we're building, we're using different actions in a workflow to do things, but we're using workflows that have multiple actions or multiple workflows with multiple actions to deploy and release software and to run tests and do automation. What is the difference between those two things?
Yeah. So here, how about you? Can I share my screen again?
Yes, sir.
All right. So if you come into here, this is a GitHub action. All of my GitHub actions here are here. And then these are different ones that are running. Now, workflows are the definitions. Actions are when they're actually running. So it's kind of like saying you have code and then you have compiled code, right? And so like an action is like when a workflow runs. So a GitHub action, and then there's other pieces inside of the action, but really the workflow is what defines. That's probably a better way to describe it. Is a workflow defines what a GitHub action does. And so here, sorry, these are the runs, but yeah, your workflows are defined here. And so in GitHub, you have that .github directory. It's like a hidden directory inside your repository, and then you can have multiple workflows defined. So in this case here, it's syncing, and it's saying every 10 minutes, I want you to go look upstream and make sure we have the most current version of the project in this repository. So in this case, it would be Mastodon. And then make sure that we have that so that we can, when we're running our benchmark over here, that we're using that latest version of Mastodon.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So
appreciate the clarification.
Yeah.
If someone wanted to get started with dev containers, we're going to close out here in a second, but if someone wanted to get started with dev containers, what is a good resource for them to kind of get started into this world?
Let me see. Containers, honestly, like the first place that I went, the first place I went was a coworker, right? Like
Okay.
Obviously in this day and age, we don't have someone to sit next to and be like, hey, what's this? How do we do this? Right. And so if you can find someone like that, that's great. Docker has great resources for learning how to do it. And then what's great about this particular technology is that it's pretty pervasive. And so there's resources all over the internet. And so there's great places. To be honest, if you're going to get into containers, you should also get into Kubernetes. There's a great resource called KubeSimplify, run by Simon Parthak, and he does a great set of courses on learning containers and learning Kubernetes. So yeah, KubeSimplify is a great source.
Let me find that. KubeSimplify.
Yep.
And then
I think they're free, if I'm not mistaken. Simon might disagree with me, but I think they're free.
So then we have docker.com.
Yep.
Keep that up on the screen for a minute. And then we have Simplify.
Yeah.
Simplify. Cool. Awesome. Well, brother, I appreciate all the time. Is there anything that you want to plug before we end the stream today?
Just if you're interested in the stuff I've been talking about, if it sounds interesting, fascinating, you want things to go faster in your build processes, head over to depot.dev. We have a free trial over there. We're happy to help you out. We have a Discord community that you can find us at. You can find me at, and my fellow coworkers who are there's such a cool, helpful group of people. We are what one of our company values that I was onboarding with was we're relentless about being helpful. Like that's what we're here for, is to help people make their software development lives better. So yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Chris.
I appreciate the time. I know it's early. Go back to sleep. Unless you want to keep working.
You got me kicked off. Now I got meetings right after this.
Hey, at least I woke you up, bud.
Atta-buddy. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Like I said, I really appreciate the time. Let's do this again. Hopefully we'll see each other on the road. We will be streaming next week. My guest is Jason Torres from torque.dev. It's torque.dev, right? There's all this torque, this .dev stuff and .com. I
Right.
keep getting everything confused all the time.
Yeah, I think it's a new mental model we just have to, as a world, need to just
Yeah.
get over. Because a lot of people, I'll be telling people my email address, and I'm like, Scott@depot, and they're like .com. I'm like, nope, .dev. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So Jason Torres from torque.dev is going to be here on stream next week. So make sure that you tune in for that. Scott, once again, appreciate it. Thanks for the time, bud.
Thank you, Chris.
We're going to end it later.